The storm came fast and loud. Dark clouds rolled across the sky and erased the road. Rain fell so heavy that the trees looked bent and broken. The woman had been driving for hours hoping to reach a small town. But the signs disappeared and the path turned into mud. Wind shook the car and water climbed around the tires. When the engine stopped, the silence felt colder than the rain. She stepped outside holding her coat tight against her body. The forest around her felt endless and unfamiliar. Every direction looked the same under the storm. Her phone showed no signal and the screen went dark. Waiting inside the car felt unsafe and lonely. So she followed the sound of rushing water nearby, believing movement was better than fear. The ground sloped downward and each step was careful and slow. Wet leaves slid under her shoes and stones cut into her palms. The sound grew louder until the river appeared. It was wide and wild, far bigger than it should have been. Water crashed against rocks with angry force. She knew crossing it was impossible. Then something strange caught her eye above the water. A house stood high over the river on tall wooden pillars. It looked unreal, as if it should not exist. A narrow bridge connected it to the riverbank. Warm yellow light shone from the windows. The house looked calm while everything else was chaos. She stood still wondering if exhaustion was playing tricks. But the light did not fade. She called out and her voice vanished into the storm. No answer came back, yet the house remained welcoming. Fear told her to stay away, but hope pushed her forward. The bridge moved gently as she stepped onto it. The river roared beneath her feet. Every step made her heart beat faster. Still the bridge held strong. At the door she hesitated with her hand raised. Something about the house felt watchful and quiet, as if it had been waiting for someone like her. She knocked and waited, listening to the storm behind her. The door opened slowly without a sound. A tall man with gray hair stood there watching her closely. His eyes held both caution and recognition. The man stepped aside and allowed her inside without questions. Warm air wrapped around her and chased the cold away. Wooden walls were lined with shelves full of old objects. Books, tools, and strange items filled the room. The storm outside sounded distant now. The man said his name was Aaron and told her she was safe. His voice was calm but careful. As she walked further inside, something felt wrong under her feet. The floor was clear and smooth like thick glass. Below it, water flowed slowly, glowing with soft light. She froze, staring down, unable to breathe. The river was inside the house, moving quietly beneath her. Aaron noticed her fear and gently guided her away. He told her the house was built to survive storms. Her eyes wandered to a door at the back of the room. It was heavy and locked with metal bars. Marks were carved into the surface in patterns she did not know. The air around it felt colder than the rest of the house. When Aaron saw her looking, his face tightened. He placed himself between her and the door, and said softly that some things were not meant to be seen. The storm continued to rage outside, but a deeper unease settled inside. She realized the house was not a shelter by chance. It stood above the river for a reason. And Aaron was not just a man who lived alone. He was guarding something hidden and powerful. Something tied to the water beneath the floor. And finding this house had changed everything. The storm continued through the night, while the house remained still. Wind screamed around the walls but never touched the inside. The woman sat near the wooden table, watching shadows move softly. Aaron poured warm water into a cup and placed it near her hands. His movements were slow, as if every sound mattered. The river beneath the glass floor flowed quietly, glowing faintly. She felt as if the house was breathing with it. Sleep did not come easily, and silence pressed against her thoughts. Every creak of the wood made her turn her head. Aaron stayed awake, sitting near the shelves, watching the floor below. She noticed his eyes never fully left the glowing water. When she finally spoke, her voice sounded smaller than she expected. She asked how a house could stand over such a wild river. Aaron waited a long moment before answering. He said the river was older than the land around it. Older than roads, trees, and storms. People once believed it carried memories, not just water. That it remembered everyone who crossed it or drowned within it. Aaron explained the house was built to watch and listen. Not to control the river but to calm it. His voice carried weight like he spoke from long experience. As he spoke, the light beneath the floor slowly brightened. Soft shapes moved within the water like drifting shadows. The woman felt fear rise but also deep curiosity. Aaron noticed her tense posture and lowered his voice. He said the river sometimes showed what it remembered. Faces, places, and moments lost to time. He warned her never to step on the glass alone. The locked door at the back of the house seemed heavier now. Its presence pressed against her thoughts without a sound. She asked what was hidden behind it, and Aaron turned away. His shoulders tightened as if carrying an old burden. He said the door led closer to the river heart, a place where memories grew strong and dangerous. He told her no one should enter without reason. Night slowly faded into early morning light. The storm weakened and rain softened into gentle drops. Outside, the river lowered slightly but still moved fast. The woman stood near the window watching mist rise. She felt changed, though she could not explain how. The house felt less like a shelter and more like a test, as if it was waiting for her choice. Aaron finally spoke again with a tired, calm voice. He said people who find the house are never lost by accident. The river brings those carrying heavy, unanswered questions. It listens to pain, regret, and unfinished paths. He said the house only appears to those who need truth. The woman felt his words settle deep inside her chest. Because she knew the river had found her for a reason. Morning light spread softly across the river and into the house. Mist floated low and turned the world pale and quiet. The woman woke to the sound of slow-moving water beneath the floor. The glow from the river was weaker now, but still alive. She sat up, feeling a strange pull in her chest, as if the river was calling without sound. Aaron stood near the back of the room, watching her closely. He said little as he prepared simple food. His movements were careful, like someone guarding balance. The woman noticed his hands tremble when the river brightened again. She asked if the river ever rested. Aaron replied that it never truly slept. It listened even in silence. And it grew louder when truth stayed hidden. After eating, she walked slowly across the glass floor. Each step made her heart beat harder. Shapes moved below, following her shadow. Not reaching but watching like curious eyes. She stopped when the water brightened under her feet. A deep warmth rose through her body. Memories she tried to forget pressed forward. Aaron spoke firmly, telling her to step back. His voice held fear for the first time. He said the river was responding to her presence. It recognized something unfinished inside her. The woman felt tears rise without knowing why. She remembered promises broken and paths never taken. The river reflected these feelings back to her. The locked door at the back creaked softly without touch. Metal bars vibrated as if breathing. Symbols along the surface glowed faintly. The house itself seemed to lean toward the sound. Aaron moved quickly, placing his hand on the door. He whispered words meant to calm the river. But the glow beneath the floor only grew stronger. He finally told her the truth he had avoided. The river did not only remember the past. It offered choices that could change what came after. People who entered the inner chamber faced what they feared most. Some left lighter while others never returned. Aaron admitted he once entered and survived. But the cost stayed with him every day. The woman listened as understanding slowly formed. The river had not saved her from the storm by chance. It had pulled her toward a decision she had delayed for years. The house was not a prison but a crossing. Aaron said she could leave when the weather cleared. Or she could face the river and learn the truth. The choice had to be hers alone. Outside, the storm fully faded and the sky cleared. Sunlight danced on the river surface far below. The bridge stood steady and open. Yet the woman felt no desire to cross it. Her gaze returned to the locked door. Fear and resolve mixed within her chest. She knew walking away would change nothing. Aaron stepped aside slowly, giving her space. His eyes carried respect and worry together. The river beneath the floor shone brighter than ever. Its gentle movement felt like a waiting breath. The woman placed her hand against the cold door, and the symbols responded with warm light. The house had accepted her choice. The door opened slowly and released a breath of cold air. The space beyond felt deeper than the house itself. Soft light flowed upward from below like rising fog. The woman stepped forward, feeling the floor change beneath her feet. Glass turned into smooth stone, cool and steady. The sound of the river surrounded her from every direction. Yet the water itself stayed hidden from sight. The passage curved downward and walls glowed with moving shapes. They looked like shadows of moments frozen in time. People walking, laughing, waiting, standing alone. The woman recognized emotions even without faces. Hope, fear, regret, relief, all flowing together. Each step made her chest feel heavier and lighter at once, as if the river was slowly opening her heart. Aaron followed at a careful distance, saying nothing. His presence felt like an anchor behind her. The passage widened into a large, open chamber. The river revealed itself here, calm and clear. It flowed in a wide circle beneath a raised stone path. Light pulsed softly within the water like a living thing. The air felt warm despite the stone walls. The woman stopped at the edge of the path, watching the water. Images rose gently from the surface without sound. They showed moments she had buried deep inside. Paths she avoided, words she never spoke, choices delayed. None felt accusing, yet none allowed escape. The river did not judge, it only revealed. Her breath slowed as understanding settled in. Aaron finally spoke, his voice low and steady. He explained the river asked for honesty above all. It did not demand pain but truth. Those who resisted felt trapped within themselves. Those who accepted could leave changed but free. He warned her that the river would respond to her heart alone. No one could guide her through this moment. She stepped closer until warmth reached her hands. The river light reflected in her eyes. Memories rose stronger now, but no longer sharp. She felt grief soften into clarity. The weight she carried for years slowly loosened. The water responded by glowing brighter and steadier, as if listening closely. She spoke aloud, not to Aaron but to the river. Her voice echoed gently across the chamber. She admitted fear of choosing wrong paths, fear of leaving safety for truth, fear of standing alone with her decisions. The river stirred slowly, as if answering without words. Light flowed around her feet like reassurance. The chamber shifted almost unnoticed. Stone walls reflected brighter colors than before. The air felt lighter, easier to breathe. The river slowed and its glow softened. Aaron watched silently, his face calm for the first time. He knew the river had accepted her honesty. The hardest part was passing. The woman stepped back from the water, feeling steady. Strength replaced the doubt that once shaped her steps. The river no longer pulled but gently released. She turned toward the passage, ready to return. The chamber dimmed as if resting again. Behind her the river continued flowing peacefully. Its work complete for now. The passage felt shorter on the way back. Stone slowly shifted into smooth glass beneath her steps. The soft glow faded until only river sound remained. When she reached the main room the house felt calmer. The floor no longer shone with bright light. Water moved quietly like a resting breath. The house had returned to silence. Aaron waited near the window, watching the river below. He turned and met her eyes without speaking. Something in her face told him the answer. The tension he carried for years finally eased. He nodded slowly with understanding and respect. The house did not need words between them now. The river had spoken clearly. Outside, the sky opened into gentle light. Clouds drifted away, revealing pale blue above the trees. The river lowered and its wild sound softened. The bridge stood still, no longer shaking. The woman felt the pull toward the outside world. Not as escape but as forward movement. The house had done what it was meant to do. She gathered her things slowly, taking one last look around. The shelves, the glass floor, the quiet walls. Nothing had changed yet, everything felt different. She thanked Aaron with a steady voice. He told her the house would always appear when needed. Not always to her, but to others searching for truth. The river would continue listening. At the door she paused, feeling a final wave of doubt. Fear whispered that the world outside was uncertain. But her heart answered with calm strength. She stepped onto the bridge without hesitation. The river flowed beneath without reaching for her. Its glow faded fully into natural water. The crossing was complete. Each step away from the house felt lighter. The forest no longer looked endless or threatening. Paths appeared clear where confusion once lived. She reached her car and found it ready to move. The storm damage felt distant now, as if it belonged to another life entirely. The road opened before her. As she drove away, the house faded from sight. Pillars vanished into mist and light dissolved. Only the sound of the river remained for a moment. Then even that softened into memory. The woman felt no loss, only gratitude. She carried truth instead of questions now. And that was enough. Far above the river, Aaron watched from the window. The house settled quietly back into waiting. The water beneath rested calm and dim. Another cycle had ended without struggle. He closed the door at the back of the room, knowing it would open again someday. When the river called someone else, the road carried the woman toward a new beginning. Choices ahead no longer felt heavy or delayed. The river had not changed her past, but it had given her peace with it. She drove forward with steady hands and clear vision, no longer lost even when paths twisted. The storm inside her had finally passed.